Welcome to Making a Stuart Model Steam Plant, Part 80. After applying 4 coats of thin varnish and rubbing down between each coat, the baseboard is beginning to look good. Before I go any further, I would just like to say I am not a painter or a French polisher. All I'm doing is varnishing a simple baseboard for a steam plant. And for all the experts out there, please don't write in to tell me I'm doing it wrong, because I do it this way irrespective of what you think. I've done a lot of this sort of thing over the years and I find it quite relaxing. There is a distinct way to do it, or should I say, there is a distinct way that I do it. The time between the coats is important, as is the thickness of the varnish that you apply. If you paint on the varnish directly from the tin, it will be very thick and the finish won't be very good. Normally I thin this polyurethane varnish using white spirit, but I do not add white spirit to the tin of varnish, because I find that by doing that, the varnish goes solid in the tin after a short while. Just off camera to the right hand side, I have an aerosol cap full of white spirit, and I always dip the paintbrush into the pot of white spirit before I dip it into the tin of varnish. What I'm trying to do is make each coat that I apply thinner than the previous one. And in fact the final coat is nearly all white spirit. As I mentioned in the previous episode, I'm not trying to get a mirror finish on this part. It is, after all, meant to represent floorboards in an engine house. I alternate between using the brush loaded with varnish, which is thinned with white spirit, and a piece of cotton cloth. This cotton cloth that I use I cut from rolls of curtain lining that I was given many years ago. Really, I should put a piece of sponge inside the cloth and make a thing called a rubber, which is used in French polishing, which I think is pretty similar to what I'm doing here, except I'm using polyurethane varnish, not shellac varnish. You have to be very careful that you do not apply too much varnish around the edges, because that will run as it's in the vertical plane. Timing is quite important. 48 hours later, yes, 48 hours later, not 24, I'm back in the workshop to give it another coat. It's important to give the varnish sufficient time to dry and harden before you work on it. It's time to rub this one down. I'm using 400 grade wet or dry sandpaper at the moment, using it dry and making sure that I'm rubbing down every part of the board, not forgetting the edges. Once the board had been rubbed down, I removed all the particles, and for that I used a piece of cloth and a tiny amount of white spirit, just enough to attract the particles that were on the wood. And now once again, in exactly the same way as I've already shown, I varnished the board one more time. As soon as I'd finished the varnishing job, I vacated the workshop and left it for another 48 hours. In total, I applied 4 coats of varnish, and I think this will be sufficient to give me the effect that I want. What about the black mark? How did this black mark occur on the baseboard? In an earlier episode, I was illustrating how you should not use a felt tip pen to mark hole positions on wood. However, this hole position for one of the clamps that holds the boiler down was marked using a felt tip pen. Just for the record, I did this on purpose to show what happens. And with every coat of varnish, the black marks seem to get bigger, but it's not a problem because it's underneath one of the boiler clamps. Now it's time to fit the hand pump, and this proved to be quite a difficult and very fiddly job, because the lever from the hand pump itself is in the way of the nut, and made this a much more fiddly job than I thought it was going to be. Here are the 4 brass nuts, and one by one I'm fitting them to the 4 steel studs that hold the hand pump in position. It would have been simpler to use bolts, or even machine screws, but with the design of these pumps, if you do that, you will probably mark the paintwork with the shaft of the screwdriver. In the end, it was just a spannering exercise, being very careful not to scratch the paintwork, and it became a usual test for my patience. The video is running at a higher speed than normal just to get through this in a reasonable time. These studs are just threaded into the wood itself, which is more than strong enough to hold the pump in place. However, when you're tightening the nuts, if you over-tighten the nuts, you will lift the stud out of the wood, and that would not be good. Anticipating this sort of thing though, I did drill all of the holes all the way through the baseboard, and an option would be to countersink the holes underneath and use long countersunk bolts. Once I've finished this steam plant, it needs to be shipped to California, and to do that I'm going to send it in separate packages. The first package will comprise of the baseboard with the pump attached and the piping and various other bits and pieces. Later on in this video I put the boiler in position. I'm doing this for two reasons. One is I obviously need to assemble the final plant to make sure everything works, but the other reason is to make it a video installation manual for the customer. The plant will need some assembly. This is one of the boiler clamps and I'm going to show how I mount this to the baseboard. Very simple, but I'm fitting washers first. I will fit both of the clamps to the baseboard when I ship package number 1. This clamp, the one nearest to the pump, can be tightened down fully. This is the clamp at the other end, and to make sure that all the bolts go into the hole smoothly, I'm tightening it up onto the baseboard. After I tighten the bolts, I untighten them and remove them from the clamp. A note for the customer: when you receive this, the clamp will be bolted down again. You will have to do this and remove it to fit the boiler as shown here. The boiler sits on top of a piece of heat-resistant material. What I'm going to show to conclude this episode are the positions of the various parts on the baseboard. I've already shown the layout in a previous episode, but that was before I painted the water tank and the condenser. It would not be a good idea to bolt all these parts onto the baseboard and then make one huge package to send to the USA. I definitely need all of these parts to arrive in California without any damage whatsoever. Just for the record, I'm going to move the position of the engine so it lines up with the condenser. Only very slightly, but it will make all the difference. The thickness of the gasket underneath the Stuart 1010V engine has to be thick enough to lift the entire engine so that the exhaust outlet aligns perfectly with the condenser. Owing to the complexity of the condenser, which is also a water economizer, there's a lot of piping. And currently I'm working up to the job of polishing up all this piping using some brasso wadding, which is not my favourite job. And on that note, I'd just like to say, stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.